So I need everybody to turn on your calculator and do this one, because you're going to learn how to count by 0.5s instead of by whole units 1. So many steps to get it to the right place. But boy, this calculator makes it easy. You wouldn't want to be doing this without a calculator. All right, so our f of x is x minus, or is that plus 1? How can I tell if I can't read it? Why? Because you can just tell. Can anybody tell from the graph? It's positive. Why? That's where our y-intercept is. Our y-intercept is right there. So this has to be a plus 1, even though it may look like a minus 1. I made that mistake earlier today. Okay, sorry. Okay, so it's x plus 1. And there we have a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of 1. So there we go. Now let's do our f2 of x. Remember, we punched tab. And our f2 of x is just f1. F1 of, parentheses is basically of, and it doesn't mean times in this situation, 2x. And enter. And it should look exactly like this graph there. Okay? I know there's a little bit of a glare, but you can see it. All right, so we want to mess with the tables. Anybody remember how to get to the table? Control T. Excellent job on remembering this. Control T. All right. So once you're on the table, push menu. Scroll down to number 2, table. And we want to edit the table settings. So either scroll down or push the number 5. And, okay, look up here. Table starts. That's where the first number is going to be. We don't care where it really starts because we can scroll it up and down. We don't want it at 100 or 1,000. 0 is right in the area where we want. But this table step means how much it counts by. So you're going to count by what do we count by?
0.5.
We can count by 0.5. Can we count by something else?
No, we just said 0.5.
Well, it goes 0.5, 1. If I counted by 0.1s, it would get there. I'd just have more steps, right? 0.5 is a good number to do. You can change this to anything you want. You can go smaller or you can go bigger. So I could have it, I could count by 10s or 100s. But for today, I want to count by halves. So I'm going to go down to my table step, and I'm going to either just put 0.5 or 0.5. A lot of y'all like to see that 0 there. I don't know what happens if you press enter. I just know to go to OK. So I go to OK, and I click there, and now look at your graph, or your table. 1.5 to 2.5. It looks like it's only in that column, because over here I've got whole numbers. Over here, in the far left column, do you notice? Can you see what happens when I click there? That 0 becomes 0.5. That 1 is 1, but the next one is 1.5. If I scroll down far enough, it eventually gets wide enough that you can see them all. But then you see less of the other, because there's only so much space. Okay? So, that's how you get it to count by 0.5s. We're not filling out the table today because notice you have 2 x's and it's the same y that you're getting. Yesterday we had 1 x and 2 different y values, so it was really easy to look at the table. This table is really hard to look at, so they filled it in and we're not even discussing it. Okay? So, everybody okay on how to change to count it by the decimals? You get it on the table with Control T, then you push menu, and then you go to table, and then you go to change settings. So 2 and then 5, and then change it whatever you want. All right, last one, we're just going to fill in. Really? Okay. F is horizontally stretched by a factor of 1/4. Okay, just like yesterday, since it's a fraction, it's going to be stretched by a factor of 1/4. When it's a fraction between -1 and +1, it's going to stretch it. Factor tells me it's going to be 1/4. So every place there's a blank, I'm going to put in a 1/4. This is my function, f of x. My f2 of x is the hard part, and it's not that hard, but that's what we're working on. Anybody know what I'm going to put here? What am I going to start with? F1. And then, guys, all I do is take whatever is right here after this F and just rewrite it. So what am I going to put? Parentheses 1/4 x. And that's it. Okay? And I'm not going to graph it so that we have time to work on our homework. Oh, this one, hang on. Forgot 2 things. Done it too many times today. This is F and this is G. The top one. I started at F. Oh no, I wrote this wrong. This was my F and this is my G. I started at F and moved to G. So a compression, does it make it more steep or less steep? I'm starting here and I'm going here. More steep or less steep? More steep. So, right underneath it, put steeper, because you'll have to refer back to that when you're doing your assignment. All right, this is your F, this is your G. So, I'm starting here, and I'm going here, more or less steep. F to G, less. So, less steep. And again, where does the number have to be? Number inside the parentheses. Okay. So, I'll write this up at the top right here. X is equal to 5. In this class yesterday, I don't believe we got any practice on this, did we? No. We didn't do any of them, right? All right, so everybody pull out this sheet. Anybody need one of those? Yes, Romeo, because you were absent. Anybody else? Quickly. Okay, so I'm going to do, since we didn't practice this at all yesterday, I'm going to do the first one with you. And then I'm going to have you do number 2, and I'm going to come around and make sure everybody's working on it, and then we'll go and check them. Actually, not number 2, the second one. Let's start with number 19. Okay, so this is where we're going to start. We're not following the directions that are on the page. There's 3 things you're going to do. You're going to tell me what F1 of X is in your calculator. You're going to tell me what F2 of X is in your calculator. And you're going to tell me how does the graph change. Okay? So those are the 3 things you're going to do on every problem. Tell me what F1 of X is, what F2 of X is, and then how does the graph change. All right, notice on this paper, Some of them are, we have different functions. We have f of x, f, g, g, h. All of those refer to the top. I've got this covered up because I don't want y'all to see these answers. I did those with another class. So I rewrote what h of x is right here. So f1 of x is just whatever your f of x is because that's what it's talking about. See, since it's referring to f there, all I do is say f1 of x is 3x minus 2. All right? For f2 of x, all I do is I say, I'm always going to refer back to f1. So I'm going to go to f1, and then whatever it is in parentheses right here, that's what I put right there. So what is it in parentheses? 2x. So I just put 2x. Only thing is, instead of putting f of x, I'm putting f1 of x. That's it. Okay? So let's take it and let's do it on our calculator. Okay. So escape, new document, don't save, add graph. Okay, everybody with me, right? All right, so f1 of x is what? Well, we wrote it down. All we're going to do is type it in. 3x minus 2. Did you get it, Isaac? Thank you. f1 of x is 3x minus 2. There's my line. Y-intercept is negative 2. Pretty steep slope, up 3 over 1. Okay? Get to f2. So tab, f2 of x is f1. So f1 parentheses. And what do I put inside my parentheses? 2x. And enter. And there it is. So it's inside the parentheses. Is this vertical or horizontal? It's inside the parentheses. It's inside the parentheses, like that. So I know it's a horizontal. Okay? So, horizontal. And, now, did it become more steep or less steep? Your blue is almost always the one that shows up first. I'm not going to say always because it depends on which letter you put in first. But blue should be what's up first, and it's going from blue to red. So it's more steep. So it's horizontal, and it's more steep. So let me tell you how we're grading this paper. Today, we're practicing together. We're having group practice. I'm going to come around and put stickers on everybody who's writing and working on number 22. Number 22 is the one I want you to do next. And then I'm going to go over it because y'all need to know whether you have it right or wrong. So you're going to get graded by the end of class. You should have 3 or 4 stickers. And then tomorrow you're going to finish the paper. Those will be graded for correctness. These will just be graded whether you were doing them as we're doing them, right? So if you don't have it done when I come by or you're not working on it, then you won't get your stickers. So you need to be sure you're on task. Okay? Go ahead and figure out what are the 3 things. You need to know f1 of x. You need to know f2 of x. Say what they're equal. And then decide whether it is how it's changed. Is that tapping at the door, or is that you? Okay. Okay. You weren't in here when I lost the game, were you? Alright. F1 of x is now f2 of x, that's how you're going to change it, is going to be f1 of x plus 2. And that's it. And you type it in your calculator. Sorry.
My mama's grandma's talking.